Okay, everyone. Today we are taking a look at one of the Zealot builds that I previewed in my Zealot tier list. These were builds that I assumed would be very good in the upcoming patch, and I was right about that. I did rank this build, not this error, but this build here, S tier, in that video, and I guess I was a little bit off because I would actually rank this build a god tier build at this point. This build single-handedly, you could solo a whole game just running this build. You wouldn't need bots, allies, or anything. If you are a player with a high skill cap, the higher your skill, this build can accommodate it because it's such a fast-paced build. I feel like you could always be squeezing out a little bit extra damage, playing a little bit more optimally. There are some builds where, like for instance, swinging the two-handed hammer, you can only get so many attacks in. With the knife, you could always get an extra attack or two in. You could always be dodging at a different time. You can keep yourself mobile and be in the correct location to catch a new spawn. It's just, this is a very high skill cap build, and I think it rewards you appropriately. It's above average to excellent at boss killing, elite killing, special killing, objective completion, saving your teammates, all those things. And all those things together make it what I would consider the strongest build in the game currently. It's actually so strong that I am worried that Fat Shark will notice somehow and nerf it. That's how strong it is. Usually Fat Shark, I'm like, they won't change anything for 6 months. But they might look at this video here today, because this video is going to go, have probably 500,000 views at least, and see it and nerf it. So I am kind of nervous about putting this out there, but I'm willing to take that risk, guys, to share this with you so you can experience this build in its brief moment of glory. All right, so what is the build? Enough gushing about it. We are using the Katachan Mark III. We are dumping mobility. We are prioritizing every other stat because those are damage stats, and mobility we have enough. We need 5% melee crit chance. We need damage against unyielding enemies because that's bosses. Our blessings need to be Flesh Terror for 8 bleed stacks on crit hit. Your second one can flex, but I think Riposte is the best because what this does is it caps our crit. And when I say caps our crit, it brings it to 100, or at least my on-screen thing says 100% a lot of the time. For a secondary weapon, anything that you can use that will solve the problem of trappers that are hiding behind hordes or snipers that are way too far away. I think the revolver is a really good pick for that. I would not pick anything like a bolter because those are too slow to pull them out and wield them. You want something you can snap off a shot really, really quick with. For trinkets or curios or whatever they're called, 2 health curios with bonus health, stamina regen, and I'm using gunner damage resistance. You could actually swap this out. I might actually swap it out because we are not going to be taking shots from gunners here. We are going to be spending 95% of our game in stealth. So that is not really something that comes into play. These are just the trinkets I use on all of my classes. But you could use whatever is appropriate for you here, whether that be ordo dockets or experience or you could use cooldown resistance or reduction, but I don't think it's really important. What is important is that one of these curios needs to be max stamina. That's just going to give us enough because we are going to be using a lot of push stabs with the knife, which is shoving, which uses stamina. And we do have good stamina regeneration with all the trinkets here, having the same secondary stamina blessings. But it's always good to have that little bit extra buffer because we'll be sprinting a lot too. And you don't want to be in a situation where you don't have any stamina left to shove, say a burster backwards. All right, let's look at the talents and break down what makes this build so nuts. So first of all, we have a 5% base crit as the Zealot. We have another 5% from this weapon, and we have 20% on our riposte dodge down there for 6 seconds, which is a very long duration. We can get 30%, which stacks when we're meleeing the same enemy. And this stacks easier when you have higher crit. So this Scourge gets more value the more crit we have, and it gives us more crit. So it kind of stacks upon itself. Then we have Second Wind here and Enduring Faith. Enduring Faith, we're nearly always critting, so we're always going to have this toughness damage reduction. And Second Wind, in combination with this talent down here, Invigorating Revelation, those two together are how we are going to regenerate the vast majority of our toughness. Because dodging attacks, they're very predictable when the attacks will come, because as soon as you come out of stealth, the enemies will start to target you, and you can dodge them. and then Invigorating Revelation, we're going to be coming out of stealth approximately every 5 to 10 seconds. So that's gonna add up to a lot of toughness over time. So we like that. Again, more stuff for successful dodging, because we're going to be dodging a lot. Dodging is like integral to the build because it gives us crit off of riposte there. And then we come down to this left side because it makes us fast and makes us not get hit staggered, which is another thing that adds a layer of security to the build, is not being like staggered and then chain walloped on. We take Shroud Field with Mastercrafted Shroud Field because it used to be 6 seconds, now it's 5, but 5 is still plenty, and 3 is too short. We need to use that 5 seconds to get into position where the enemies were grouped before dealing with us. Now we're taking ourselves out of there and we're positioning ourselves behind the ranged units, or whatever the priority units are that were arranging themselves to attack our previous position. By the way, we're going through Loner. Obviously, you have to play this with Loner, because otherwise you're a psychopath, and it's just, you're going to get ambushed by every special in the game. This is a very important node down here. Pious Cutthroat. Backstab kills restore 20% of our ability cooldown. This, in combination with the new Invocation of Death, is going to restore our cooldown almost instantly. So what we can do is, this is where I was saying the skill cap really comes in with this build, is there's a couple of different moves that I'll showcase in the game if you want to stick around and watch me play a game with this build. But we can swivel around, we can dodge around or swing around behind enemies that are about to attack us, and exploit the fact that they're not going to turn themselves when they're attacking, and get a backstab on them from what looks like the front, sort of like a TF2, like face stab. You can also shove enemies, and this is where we have that stamina for the push stab, because when you shove enemies, they don't turn to face you for a moment, so you can shove enemies and dodge around them to the side, and then use that push stab to execute them. A really easy way to get a 20% ability cooldown, and 20% of 30 seconds is 6 seconds. That's a lot of cooldown, especially considering every time we get a crit, we get 200 plus 200% ability cooldown regeneration, which means triple ability cooldown regeneration. So for 4 seconds, in those 4 seconds, we will regenerate 12 seconds worth of ability cooldown. The best part about this is you can hit a crit and then go into stealth immediately, and your cooldown will lower by 12 seconds while you're in stealth, and then you'll get another crit as you come out, and it'll lower by another 12 seconds in the next 4 seconds, and you'll be back up at it. There's actually a very high skill cap trick you can pull with Shroud Field, which is called a double stab. You can get a stab or an attack as you're going into stealth, if you activate the stealth as you swing, and it will guarantee a crit, and that will start your cooldown ticking down while you're in the stealth, and you can be in there for 5 seconds. So you'll have that accelerated cooldown, you'll have about 18 seconds left, and you reveal yourself. You come out with a backstab kill, you lower by 6 more seconds, and it's a guaranteed crit, which is going to lower our ability, it boosts our ability cooldown, so we will actually only spend about 4 seconds out of stealth if we only kill one enemy with a backstab. If we kill a second enemy with a backstab as we come out of stealth, we spend about 1 to 2 seconds actually visible to the enemies. And then finally, we have Blazing Piety with its Righteous Warrior down here. This is going to allow us to stack another 25% crit. Like I'm saying before, this build caps crit, and that is super valuable because that means that every attack that we put on enemies is going to put those 8 stacks of bleed, and it is so much more effective to hit an enemy twice and have them have 16 stacks of bleed than it is to hit them 4 times, just from a time perspective. Do note, though, that backstab kills are not counted from things like bleeds. So even if you're behind the enemy when they die of a bleed, you have to actually apply the game has to register that you hit them in the back to get the kill. So that is the only slight downside that I could find in this build. But he's just so strong, and I would not recommend that everybody in a team run this. It is very solo oriented, very self-sufficient. You're going to be, I'm using air quotes here, you're going to be that guy when you're playing this build, because you are going to be in the next room ahead of your teammates, just fucking destroying all of the enemies that are set up in there. But you are not going to be a liability for the team because you have loner, which means you're not going to be calling in additional specials to come and get you, and you are super safe because your stealth is nearly always up. And because we have the dagger and the stealth and that boosts our movement speed and the stealth boosts our movement speed, if our allies get in trouble in the previous room, we can quickly go into stealth and sprint back into that room and get a rescue or something like that. Build is just excellent at getting rescues, accomplishing objectives. I mean, just imagine the fastest moving build in the game that also does some of the highest damage in the game and spends almost its entire time invisible where enemies won't even attack you. That's the sort of build we're about to demonstrate here today, if the game can find someone to match me with. That's what's going on. We're failing our matchmaking. All right, we finally got ourselves into a game. Let's hope it doesn't fall apart for some reason or another. We got a guy with 4,000 levels in our lobby here. Interesting. That's a lot of levels. Oh, he's running the like a Doomslayer sort of build.
Special issue ammunition reserves are critically low.
This is a good map for us, though.
Data indicates a suitable stockpile
A lot of open areas that don't have the lock doors that require us all to go through. So, yeah, we can get a distance ahead of our team and work with them. And there's lots of hacking mini games. We get to carry the power cells or the ammo, whatever it is, at the end. And lots of time where we can be very useful. I'm assuming he is Shout. I didn't check what the other two's ultimates are. But yeah, we'll get into game here. We're gonna rock out. Hopefully it's not copyright protected music. And I'll show you guys what this build looks like in action. Some very fast-paced action. Okay, little loud. Sounds good. There we go. Now I can almost hear the game. Whoa! What are you trying to do? Hit me? Dead. See how you can actually get a free crit there without triggering your cooldown. I'm not here. Don't worry about me. Oh man, he's got the cooldown for getting elite kills and stuff. That's a good one to have with us. Stab! Stab! Oh, yeah, backstab headshots on those guys, even though they're above your like frame of view, are definitely possible and do nice damage. I'd say we have a pretty competent team here. I mean, I didn't really expect anything less from a guy who has 4,000 levels on one character, but yeah, I've been surprised by, of course. Let's grab a health kit. We'll get down here and get to work on this objective. It's completely safe for us to just kind of do our own thing. Dog's gonna bleed to death, right? Yeah. Fuck off, dogs. And that. See that bomb? You see the two. Did I just go right through him? Oh. Gotcha, dog. Got him. We got lots of stamina thanks to that trinket, so we can just block all day. Oh, we gotta get our cooldown up so we can get in there. Oh, look at this. Boom. God, I can press that button so quick. Either that or I have a macro. Which one? I'll never tell. Oops, missed. Need to shine again. Oh, look at this. All in a row. Ripping through your spine. Crush 40 kind of unironically slaps, even though they make music for Sonic, and that's kind of cringe. Oh god, I couldn't see over the Psyker Flames. Just keep them up for one more second here. Alright, just enough time. Oh, that was really close. Y'all ready? Why don't you fuck off, Mr. Trapper? I don't love you. No one ever loved you. Get my stamina back here. Yeah. Get that dog. Demon host. Trapper. Let's go ahead and grab this. Anyone cool to kill in here? Not really. Reload. Is that like $100 coming from me? I think it might be. Oh yeah, that's a juicy pack right there. We're kind of stuck, but it's all right. What's the worst that could happen? We get overheaded and die instantly. When does that ever happen? Oh yeah, sniper. You no longer exist. Not gonna make it. Didn't make it. Omae wa mo shinderu. Always gotta come over here. Generally there's something pretty good. And it wasn't this time. I'm just a liar. Gotta get that gas guy. Yes, we got shout juice. That's closer than it needed to be, huh? I hear a trapper. But it could just be live and learn. Hard to tell. I did hear a trapper. I'm not here. Oh. Someone freeze framed that with a dog like an inch from my face. I am being tracked by a starving beast. How appropriate. Rules of management. Oh boy. There's a lot of big metal boys right when I turn around. I can get him. Give me 1 second. Oh, you're over there. pussy for that guy on the ground. Just gets stabbed in the back of the head. Like that. Oh! Get away from me. Well, that was an unlucky Trapper Net. Did I answer a phone call there? That's my excuse. If I ever get netted, I had to answer a phone call. Otherwise, no way I would ever get trapped or hit by a dog. Oh god. What was that? Did I just get stealth hit by this fucking guy? Where was he from? Oh my god! I took that for him. I took that for you. Get down, Mr. President. Alright, let's go get this done. We are really good at this objective, by the way. We're really good at most objectives. Turns out it's good when enemies don't even fuck with you. All those enemies. We gotta get some ammo. There you go. Missed that stab. Made that stab just for you. What the fuck? Don't bleed to death. That over there? Oh yeah? What about that? That guy's still falling down and died? Took a while. Ugh. That reactionary dodge. I gotta go 30 meters and get a I heard that. You're dead. And you're dead. Oh! Nice. Oh, yeah? That's fine. I mean, a good showing from everybody. There's almost no way you can keep up with damage for Doomslayer builds. I'm certain this guy was probably absolutely shredding. But you saw how effective that build was and how little damage we took while being all over the fucking place. Oh yeah, that's pretty damn good. Now, if we hadn't been competing with a 4,000 level veteran running a extremely powerful build himself, I think we would have seen an even more dominant showing here. But yeah, he was right up front with us. But this is just a hyper aggressive build. You can see the crit rate there, 69%. Nice. And yeah, we're able to eliminate a lot of melee and ranged elites, a lot of disablers and specials. We do really good boss damage. I mean, this build is so well rounded and it is so safe. You saw almost no times in that where I was actually in any real danger other than when I got netted by being bad. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy the build. This is easily my favorite build to play right now. It's just so hyper, and it does such amazing damage. It feels great to save your team. It feels great to outplay the enemies and be clever and be sneaky about where you're gonna re-engage at. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye.